episode 11, All Alone in the Night. So in this one, I swear to God, at some point I will actually get his name right off the bat. Sheridan is like, I'm gonna get in my little X-Wing spaceship and check out something, and Ivanova's like, this is probably not a good idea, and Sheridan's just all, oh, what could possibly go wrong, at which point you know everything ever is going to go wrong. So anyway, he gets kidnapped by some crazy aliens who are like, for some reason we're kidnapping all the species and making them fight each other. For no reason that is ever explained, ever. It's not important, I guess. Meanwhile, Delenn has to go meet the Grey Council because they finally like, alright girl, you went and cocooned yourself into a half-human, half-Minbari thing, and we need to talk. And so she's all like, I'm going to do this, and it's probably not going to be good. And then Lanier is like, I will come with you because you're awesome. And then she's like, Lanier, you don't have to. And he's like, yeah, but I'm gonna. And I was like, Lanier. Anyway, I don't know why I'm just recapping this entire thing. So stuff happened. She's not in the Grey Council anymore. The Grey Council is kind of tools. Oh, and she was replaced by someone from the military caste when they should have replaced her by somebody from the religious caste. So now I guess the military has more votes, and it's bad. And they aren't fans of going and being friends with the humans, despite the fact that the humans apparently have some of their souls. Apparently that is not a good enough idea, good enough reason. Oh, also, Leighton is back. Okay, his name is not Leighton, but he was Leighton on DS9, so Leighton. But he's back, and he's like, sup, Sheridan, we must have words. And so anyway, it turns out that obviously some people noticed that things were up with Santiago's death. And they're like, yeah, we're thinking that was probably not legit. Like, yeah, I was assassinated by somebody, and that is uncool. And so it's just kind of like this little, like, we're all just making sure that we're all paying attention kind of thing. So it's cool. It's good. I guess that means they're technically part of kind of a conspiracy, but whatever. Anyway, it was rad, but I don't have anything huge to say about it, so mostly I guess the main thing I got out of this was just I wanted to make screen caps of Lanier's face and then draw little hearts all over it. But I didn't. I resisted. But I do love Lanier. Until next time. Okay. Episode 12, Acts of Sacrifice. So, yeah. Took a little bit of a break, and then the website I normally watch Babylon 5 on refused to load for like 3 days in a row. But we're cool because I found a new source, or rather some awesome person linked me to one. A new source. Okay, so this is, yeah. So in this one, this is mostly about how the conflict between the Narn and the Centauri is like kind of manifesting itself on Babylon 5 specifically, in that obviously random civilians from both species are getting into fights, and it kind of escalates into this thing where a group of Narn are just like, oh, we're gonna kill all the Centauri on board, and then Jakar really, really wants humans and the Minbari to help the Narn, which, I mean, you can see where the guy's coming from. I mean, the Centauri have been fucking the Narn for ages, and now they're just like, now we started a war, which the Narn apparently probably can't win. And he's like, well, clearly they're in the wrong, so will you please help me? But of course, neither the Minbari nor the human governments can really afford to get involved in this. So it's just like this whole awkward thing where like both sides are just like, oh dude, we're really sorry, and like we want to help, but we can't. But like we'll send you some food, you know, like we'll do something, and it's not, you know, but you know you have to keep the Narn from, you know, killing Centauri. Like you can't have that happen. And then there's this great bit where Jakar gets a group of Narn together, Narns, not whatever, and yells at them, and it's pretty great. And then he gets into a fight with one of them, and apparently Narns fight like angry cats. Did you know? Well, now you do. Also, there's stuff with Londo in this. I was having so many, as we call them on Tumblr, feels about both G'Kar and Londo in this. And, like, a lot of it's just really difficult because I think that G'Kar is definitely in the right here, but Londo is just a more fun character who I just like more. You know, previously to this, like earlier in the show, I was just like, Londo, you're so cool. G'Kar, nyeh. Like, G'Kar's not that fun. But you kind of have to take his, but it's like, I kind of have to take his side here because, you know, his people are getting attacked, and Londo is being a terrible person, just being like, yep, I got the shadow people to blow up a shit ton of Narns, and I felt bad about it, but, like, I still did it. And she's just like, Londo, you fuckhead. But at the same time, he's all just like, I have no friends except for you, Garibaldi, sort of. And Garibaldi's like, like, he's like, this is hard. So yeah, it was hard to watch. It was just kind of like, oh, everyone, why can't you all just be happy? But I'm pretty sure this entire show is subtitled People Being Unhappy, so, you know. And really that's, well, okay, then there was, I guess there was the other plot was about Ivanova getting some new race of weirdos to be friends with humans. That was funny. And they were like dicks and like obsessed with genetic, you know, evolution and genetic purity and stuff, and it was just kind of like dicks. But whatever. I did kind of like the idea that the guy's got like the translator with him. Like, I won't actually talk to you until I know that you're worthy of me talking to you or something. Like, it's, these guys are assholes and I wouldn't want to be friends with them, but that's still kind of interesting anyway. But that's the story. Pretty much just me feeling sorry for G'Kar, feeling like sorry for Londo, but at the same time being like, you brought this on yourself, bro. Like, oh, but seriously. What else? So there are a couple of moments. Oh, Garibaldi does an excellent Londo impression, so I enjoyed that. Na'Toth is awesome. You don't mess with Na'Toth. That's really about it. Yeah, so. Until next time! Heyo. So I'll make this quick because it's kind of late, but, episode 13, Hunter Prey. So, in this one, we had a fugitive aboard the station. But it all got quite exciting because our Earth Force people were supposed to catch him and give him to, like, some CIA dude or whatever, I don't know. Space CIA. Because this was, like, the former doctor of the vice president who quite mysteriously was ill at such a convenient time as to not be on Earth Force 1 when it blew up and the president died. So anyway, they're like, well, hang on. And so then they don't turn him over, and so it turns into this thing where they don't turn him over because they need to get information from him because some group is trying to prove, you know, that the president might have been assassinated. Plus, meanwhile, also, Sheridan is having interactions with Ambassador Kosh, who is being his usual enigmatic self. And, you know, Sheridan is basically just like, bro, tell me things about yourself. We don't know anything about you. And you appeared in my mind back when a few episodes ago when I got kidnapped by crazy aliens. So, like, what's up with that? So basically, Kosh is finally like, I will teach you about yourself to get you ready to fight a legend. And I was like, so, okay, my crazy headcanon is still that the Vorlons are secretly the Shadow People, but, like, maybe they're not. Maybe but I bet they do know about the Shadow People. Okay, because there was this one moment where Sheridan was all like, what do you want, to Kosh, and Kosh was like, never ask that. And it was just like, whoa. It's kind of interesting that a question could have so much power. I don't know, but it feels like maybe the Vorlons and the Shadow People are ancient enemies or something. So that could be exciting. Oh, and his spaceship is apparently alive, which is cool. I don't know. Oh, there was this bit where Garibaldi and Franklin were wandering around down below. Is it called down below? Whatever, that's what I'm calling it. To look for this escaped doctor. And I loved Garibaldi's idea of a disguise is basically just to wear like a big jacket and a fedora. It's like, you're my favorite. And then there was this one scene where he was like shooting at this one guy to get information out of him and just being like, bro, I've had a bad day because I got like knifed in the arm and I'm wearing this fedora. And I was like, I was having these weird feelings of like, as soon as Garibaldi puts on a fedora, he like becomes Peter Marlowe, which doesn't make any sense. Like, Peter Marlowe, who doesn't drink constantly? But that was kind of fun. I mean, all I really want now, of course, then I was just watching it and being like, all I really want is an episode where Garibaldi has like a noir mystery plot. Yeah. But that's pretty much always what I want out of my sci-fi that happens to have cop/detective characters. I mean, Odo got that one episode that was sort of noir. It was kind of fun. But I did promise to stop talking about that. Whatever. So, yeah, this one was good. I was just kind of like, yes, tell me more. But of course I didn't actually find anything out about the Vorlons. But whatever. Yeah. And as an aside, I was watching this week's Criminal Minds, and the woman who plays Ivanova was in it. So I got really excited. I always get excited. There's been a lot of really cool people who've shown up. Just who've been on like one show and then they show up on another one that I watch. Like, Criminal Minds has had several. The other one, Fly, has actually had a few. Like, David Warner was on. I mean, you know, and what's his face? I just completely forgot. Chekhov, dude. And like, the space CIA guy in this episode, I'm pretty sure was on Deep Space Nine. I think it was Cal Hudson. Because that's just immediately what came to my mind as I was like, Cal Hudson's back! So I feel like he's been on the show previously, but I have a really bad memory for these characters. Because I'll be like, yeah, I feel like that guy's been on here before. We probably know things about him. Oops. Whatever. So, that's my story. And I'm the worst at ending these. Whatever, I enjoyed it, so until next time. Hey yo! So today, episode 14, There All the Honor Lies. This one was fun. So this one kind of had several things going on and continued a few plot threads, but the main one was that some Minbari tried to set up Sheridan, basically to get rid of him. And it brings back something that kind of got introduced with Sheridan right at the beginning of the season, and then was never really brought up again, which is that he's famous for having destroyed some like big Minbari ship during the war, and that some Minbari weren't exactly comfortable with him being assigned to Babylon 5. So this finally came up again, and I was like, yeah, finally consequences. Also, tons of Linear being fabulous. And I love Linear. And I realized that second only to my love of Linear being a ninja is now my love of Linear being pissed. Because, like, he was, I don't know, it's just so much fun. I like it when very calm, dignified kind of characters get angry. You're like, yeah. But there was that, and it was looking bad for our boy, Sheridan, for a while there, but obviously it all turned out alright. Well, I guess not obviously, but it all turned out alright, which was good. I was pretty much just like, nope, you can't get rid of Sheridan because we literally just got him. He has to stick around for at least a season. I mean, there's precedent. But yes, that was awesome. Sorry, I just got distracted by something. So, the other stories were basically... I feel like there's hair in my... Oh, it's on my glasses. Like, there's a whole bunch of... Yeah. So, they kept up the thread of Ambassador Kosh is teaching Sheridan things, and in this one he had him go to some really nasty part of Down Below, where it turns out a whole bunch of people in robes just materialize if you pay them something, and they, like, sing to you, in what sounded kind of like a Latin chant that monks might have sung. I don't know if it was actually in Latin or not, but it was really pretty, which is, I guess, the point. But yeah. And then there's also a little bit of a subplot with Veer, which I was suddenly having Veer feelings all over the place. I was just like, what? When did this occur? Like, I've liked Veer, not the entire time. I mean, I thought he was annoying at the beginning of the show, but it didn't take too long for me to warm up to him. But I've really, really liked him since he started, like, standing up to Londo and telling them that he's being a horrible person sometimes. I mean, sure, he's not really doing anything to stop him, but I just kind of like the kind of middle, just the stand he takes in to a certain degree. But in this one, he's all just like, well, I can't get, because they were basically going to replace him. And it just has this whole thing where he's talking about how nobody ever wants him where he is, and it's just like, oh, weird. So that happened. Oh yeah, and then the last thing I was going to mention was the store that opens up. That's just selling Babylon 5 related merchandise, and then the jokes that come out of that were pretty great. Sheridan the teddy bear, and like the little doll of Londo was pretty much the greatest thing. I was like, oh, except that Babylon 5 broke our implicit promise and mentioned Centauri creepy tentacles again, which no thank you. Please, never bring that up again. But it was funny. Nice save, Ivanova. But yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Even if the poor teddy bear got spaced at the end. I was like, oh, but he's wearing a baseball jersey. Why do you have to be such a hater, Sheridan? But yeah, so that occurred, and until next time, my friends. Okay, episode 15 of season 2, and now for a word. Oh, this one was quite fun. Something very different. It was filmed like a documentary. Some, like, TV station on Earth sends a reporter and a crew to Babylon 5 to film this thing. And the entire episode is just, that's the framing device, it's just this documentary, which is so much fun, because, like, it's the sort of thing I always want to see in TV shows. I love seeing the characters from the perspective of outsiders. And, of course, this is, like, the perfect way to do that. Plus, also, it gave the opportunity for characters to actually sit down and talk about things, which they normally wouldn't do, like get asked questions. So we get some more history of the station, we get a little bit more personal history about Jakar and Ivanova especially. Jakar, that whole scene with Jakar where he's like talking about the history of well, he tells this story about his childhood, I guess, and how his father died. Oh my god. Feelings everywhere. That's not okay. And then the contrast between his version and Londo's version of the Centauri-Narn conflict. So, no, you know what? I'm not going to do it. See, I think I'm getting better. I'm stopping myself. I'm like, no, we're just going to talk about this one show. We're not going to compare it to other shows with really, really similar concepts. Like, yeah, this is an incredibly similar concept. This one thing. But okay, anyway, I mean, like, the details are different, obviously, but the core concept. But yeah, it's basically, oh, we colonized your planet, we made it better because technology. And it's like, no, asshole. Which, I don't even, I can't with Londo. I cannot, like, I like him, and he's not on the side of the good guys, and I'm like, I don't know why. So, you know what, whatever. It'll be okay. And oh my god, the scene where she was interviewing Delenn, just, Delenn, come here, baby, I need to give you a hug. Like, poor Delenn. She needs some friends to be like, it's cool that you're part human now. It's cool. Like, oh. Yeah, I guess the most interesting things was with the 3 ambassadors. Wow, but it was lots of fun seeing it all from an outsider perspective and just the whole mess of what happened. And that creepy-ass commercial for Psychor, I was like, please, no, get away from me. And then they have that little bit where they flash, like, text at you, subliminal messaging. I was like, alright, I want to see what this says. It took, like, 5 minutes trying to pause it at the right moment. So, that's creepy. It said something like, Psychor's your friend, trust the core or something. And I was like, stop, you guys are really creepy. You were so creepy. Like, But yeah. So I thought it was a lot of fun, and that is my final verdict. Lots of fun. Lots and lots of fun. Except for all the parts that were saturated with feelings, which was, I guess, a different kind of fun. But yes.